Today we were trying out the 84 underfoot Black Crows Octo. A couple inches of fresh snow over firm corduroy. Let's see how it skis. Welcome to Hallway Ski Reviews. I'm Nathan, and today we're talking about the Black Crows Octo. This is a 84 underfoot ski, so pretty skinny. I skied this in a 179, or I guess 179.3, because, you know, Black Crows writes it on there. It's a pretty lightweight ski. It's, you know, right around 1,700 grams, and has a, I'd say, a medium to, you know, maybe kind of on the softer end of the flex pattern, and pretty round flex to the ski. This guy is a 14 meter turn radius, so it's got that fun turn shape. So it does short to medium shaped turns pretty darn well, and it really is like a blast to just lean into this guy and rip turns. I should say that this is a shop demo, so I have only skied it one day, and you know, I've done a few other reviews that you know, I've spent more than just a single day on it, but this guy I only spent one day on. Today's conditions were really nice groomers with about 1.5 to 2 inches of fresh snow, and it was I think it was a high of like 26 today, so fairly cold. So like pretty nice conditions, and you know, conditions that were, you could really trench and dig in the front of the ski as you know, as you pressure the tip and carve into it. So, you know, all of my experience on this ski is in that condition. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. I have not skied this on really firm conditions, so that would be the only other place that I would like to have skied them, but didn't really get the opportunity. So that said, let's move on with the review. This guy is, let's do shape and profile first. So shape of the ski is kind of a more conventional. It's got low rocker goes down to about here, you know, with it decambered it goes down a little more, but not much. It has a massive amount of camber underfoot, which I'm kind of squashing by picking it up, but I would say that's, I don't know, 7 centimeters, something like that, underfoot. So quite a bit of camber. And then in the tail, it has very little rocker. You know, it's very low, starts right about there, you know, and goes right to the tip. Something that Black Crows did with this ski is they put this aluminum piece. Let's separate these real quick, and I can probably get a little better shot of that. So they put an aluminum piece in the tail, which actually, I'm not sure what the reasoning is there, but you know, it's kind of a cool little piece, and it probably will help with durability in the long run with the tail of your skis. It probably also stiffens the tail up just a little bit. So moving on, the The size of the ski, I actually really liked the 179. I thought that was perfect for me. I typically ski skis in, you know, around that range, 180. So this guy has a carving bias. So if you're looking for a ski to just kind of slarve all over the place, it totally does it. It's a very lightweight ski. It, you know, as long as you take pressure off the tails, it just comes right around, and it's very swivelly, very slidey. But it does really like to be on edge. And, you know, I spent a good portion of the day just carving on this ski because it was so much fun. It's, you know, as far as the conditions today, you know, I found myself kind of booting out quite a bit. You know, 84 underfoot with pretty trenchy snow doesn't necessarily mean that you can get really high edge angles. And, you know, there was multiple times today that I just about ate it because I was booting out, hitting my boot on the ground, and, you know, not able to really, you know, tip it in as far as I was hoping to, because, you know, it's just not that firm. So, but it does do extremely nice, clean, round turns, and in a lot of control. I was actually pretty shocked how damp this ski felt, and some of that may be the, you know, the conditions. And I also skied this with a demo binding on it, so, you know, you're adding a pound or so per ski just in the weight of the demo binding versus a normal alpine binding. So it did feel, you know, I would guess it would feel slightly less damp if you had a normal alpine binding instead of a demo binding, but I would almost guarantee that it would still have the same fun, you know, smooth personality just because of the flex of the ski and the shape of the nose. This nose, and I think this nose is largely responsible for how it kind of digs in and trenches into the turns. You know, a normal nose would kind of cut in like this, and it would kind of float over the snow a little bit more before grabbing and pulling in. But I think because this comes up, you know, almost to a point, like this really digs in, and it really wants to pull you in, and it really wants to like trench into those turns, especially on the soft snow that I skied today. It was actually a lot of fun, you know, outside of like the boot, you know, and the issue of hitting the boot on the snow. It was a total blast. I got along really well with this ski. I recently did a review of the M Cross 88 from Dynastar, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but they feel very similar in a lot of ways, and they share a lot of shaping characteristics and flex and, you know, things like that. But anyways, so I skied this, you know, I even skied, you know, Seventh Heaven on this in really soft, steep terrain, tight, and it did pretty well. It does want to dig in and kind of pull you in, so like I did, you know, ski a pretty skinny channel between some trees, and I even ate it and went head over heels because my tips just dug in way more than I was expecting, and it just pulled me up the hill and sent me. So, you know, probably not the scenario where the ski is best in. You know, if you're gonna ski soft, steep, you know, tight terrain, you're probably better off with a tail with more rocker, and, you know, even a nose with more rocker and wider, like, you know, 95 plus wide would have, you know, been a lot easier to ski down that same terrain that I tried to ski on this on 7th. I skied this in moguls. The moguls were extremely fun. The tail, the edges are very sharp, and the tail is very flat, so you do have to ski it with pretty good technique in moguls. It, you know, they tend to be a little grabby and a little catchy if you're not keeping your weight forward and keeping your light, you know, the tail of the ski light. But it, you know, once I kind of got a feel for the ski and, you know, skied several lines of moguls, I was really enjoying this guy, and I found myself just kind of like popping and, you know, jumping in between, you know, all the trials, and it was a ton of fun, a total blast. Definitely a ski that you guys should try, you know, if you're interested in a 80 some underfoot, you know, fun carving ski. And I would definitely, you know, say that this is a fun carver with a wide range. You know, other skis, there's M-Cross 88, which I mentioned, there's Line Blade. You know, that ski kind of trenches and pulls you into the turn similar to this and has a really round flex pattern. But this ski is light and maneuverable, unlike the Line Blade. The Line Blade's kind of a little unwieldy in some situations because it just has a lot of weight to it. And this is the opposite. This is just really, really light, and it just flicks around and you can put it wherever you want. It doesn't tend, at least in the conditions I ski today, it didn't tend to get knocked off the line too much. Like, I didn't really have to, you know, a lot of lightweight skis, they'll get knocked around and deflected, and you can just kind of reposition and get it back in line. And this did that less. It didn't get knocked around quite as much, and, you know, but when it did, you could just place it again and keep going. And it just was a really nice mix of maneuverability and stability. And for a 1700 gram ski, quite damp. This ski is a, let's see, poplar and fiberglass, and that's it. There's no metal laminates, there's no carbon, there's no nothing. And, you know, this is something that I've kind of heard from, you know, other guys skiing Black Crow skis, is Black Crows does really, really well with fairly simple materials, but in build quality and shaping of the ski, they, you know, achieve what they do. And I was really impressed. You know, there's, trying to think of other just wood and fiberglass skis that I've really enjoyed lately. I feel like most of the skis that I've gotten on lately that I've really enjoyed have had a lot of, you know, at least some Titanol in it. I did ski, does that have metal in it? I don't remember. Yeah, anyways, so, you know, for carving, medium to short turns, really, really good. Off-piste, you know, if it's soft and snow and it cuts, then it's a little bit more of a handful just because it's the really flat tail, and you've got quite a bit behind you too, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. But it's mounted at 8 centimeters back from center, which is, you know, a more progressive mount point for this style of ski, just because it does have a ton of camber and low rise and tip and tail. So who might enjoy this? I would imagine that a lot of people would really get along well with this, with, you know, being at least an intermediate or an upper intermediate skier, just because the tails are, you know, pretty grabby. They are very sharp, the edges, so, you know, you could take a gumstone to them and kind of take that down just a little bit if you wanted a little bit better off-piste mogul performance, but you still are contending with a very flat tail, so I don't think you're going to get rid of all of that. It's not the easiest ski. It's not going to be like, I don't know, an Atomic Bent 100. Like, that ski is just the epitome of easy. You could just slarve and slide through everything, no catch, no drag, no nothing, and you just, it's like you drop a ball down a hill and it just bounces between all the things. This is not that. This has, you know, you want to have a little bit better technique. You want to at least, you know, be forward in your skis and be pressuring it appropriately, and be light on your feet in the transition so that the tail doesn't stick. But for a guy that is at least an upper intermediate and is seeking, you know, a carving ski but wants to do it for fun, and like you could actually learn, like if you know how to carve but don't know how to do it very well, this could be a really good option, because it'll teach you a lot of the fundamentals, like kind of a more round flex pattern. They're just very forgiving and very satisfying. And then the way that this tip kind of pulls you into the turn is also a really good way to learn how to pressure the front end and how to do it correctly. And this ski tells you a lot of what's going on. Like you can feel it through your feet and through your legs, you know, and it, which I really like. I like knowing what's going on, and if you get on a ski that's too dead, then you feel like you're losing your energy and you're not really part of the ski, you know, it's just attached to your feet. So this guy is really fun and is an excellent carving ski. It's really good off-piste as long as it's not too deep, you know, like the soft snow and with a couple inches of groomer or a couple inches of powder on top was probably about as much as I'd want to ski this off-piste. You know, and then I would imagine that firmer conditions this thing does really well, but like I said, I didn't ski in those conditions, so I can't confirm that. You know, this is my best guess based on a pretty similar ski. But yeah, anyways, that's what I got for that. I did try to do the circle test on this guy, but it was a little tough to get speed in the space that I've been, you know, trying to do it at, and I've been trying to do it in the same place each time just for consistency. But I think if it was a little firmer, like if we had those groomers but didn't have the 2 inches of fresh snow, I almost guarantee that this thing would have done a great circle test. It just would have been a total blast. And you know, I was able to carve a circle, but the second half of the circle wasn't really on edge so much, and you know, that was more because the trenching conditions and, you know, the slower snow. So anyways, you guys should check this thing out. It is a total blast. If what I'm saying appeals to you, you're gonna get exactly that. This thing is awesome. You know, 8,400 foot, if that's what you're looking for, buy it, demo it, try it, you know, whatever. Super duper good, awesome ski, and you know, nothing but praise for it. So anyways, this is Nathan, Hallway Ski Reviews. Like and subscribe below, and we'll see you on the next one.